Bournemouth's last 5 games have been an L, a W, an L, a W, an L. So how's it going to go this time? Can we get a double over Leicester? We're playing the Foxes at the King Power Stadium. Can we win? Well, based on the defeat against Arsenal.
Maybe.
What about the win against Liverpool?
Oh, definitely.
What about the loss against Villa?
No chance.
What about Saturday's performance against Fulham?
Good chance.
And the midweek match against Brighton?
No way.
We're so topsy-turvy. Our feelings about the season seem to change after every single game. Welcome to the Back of the Net preview. So how are we feeling right now? We're going to tell you. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
We're the home of AFC Bournemouth content. Look, if you're a Leicester fan and you're watching this, there's a little button that you might want to press.
Yeah, well, first click the like one, because that's really nice for you to do. And then just click the subscribe, because then you'll get to see everything that happens during the game, after the game. We'll even have fan cams that Leicester fans are more than happy to join us. And then probably a little second look talking about the game as well. So, away day review.
Away day review
See if you can get up there with some of your rivals.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a subscribe, appreciate it. And yeah, there'll be loads of content about the game.
So, just a heads up, we need, as Bournemouth fans, to just talk about the Brighton game. So, look, you may want to skip on 5-10 minutes or so, but equally, you may want to get some inside information about how we're all feeling at Dean Court at the moment. But firstly, Leicester fans, you might... Actually, you won't want to watch this either. We can look at the reverse fixture. It was a good day.
Very frustrated with a couple of players today.
Yeah, mildly more excited. I don't think Leicester look great, do they? And that's what makes it even more frustrating.
Go on, oh, go on, yeah!
Tom, a good day. A good day. Our new owner was in attendance, and similar to a recent game, we were down 1-0 at half-time, but then we turned it around to win 2-1.
We did indeed, and again, same as the Fulham one, Ryan Christie was pivotal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He got the winner in the game. But yeah, we were performing a little bit better at the time. I know Leicester was still, not in a great place, but yeah, we played really well in that second half, and we deserved to win that. So, and I remember at the time thinking that's a big win at home. And yeah, can we do the double on them?
Can we do the double? Stay tuned. So, as Bournemouth fans, we all wanted to take the good from the Fulham performance, which was very similar to our win against the Foxes. When we played Brighton in the week, it sort of started off the same. We conceded early, but we didn't really kick on. So we're going to use this time just to talk about what happened against the Seagulls. Tom, really frustrated. And I think someone was chatting to you on DM saying, that's the most frustrated and despondent I've seen Sam in quite a while after a game. And I completely was.
Yeah, it's that thing. It's almost, sometimes almost the anger's gone a little bit, because it's just like deflation and almost acceptance sometimes when you see performances like that. After one decent half, then you go in, we know what's going to happen now. It doesn't seem any sort of consistency. It was same sort of stuff really in terms of style, tactics, kind of not testing their keeper enough, being defensively a little bit loose and making it easy for them to score goals. And yeah, it's just the same things all the time, and that's what's frustrating. Yes, I know that I think you used it on a vlog recently about kind of the broken clock analogy. Works twice a day. Is right twice a day, sorry. And it feels like that at the moment. Yeah, we're getting a few results now and again. So I think outside of board, people are going, well, you're doing all right. You pick up a few wins. You beat Liverpool, you beat Fulham. But it does feel same old, and it feels like, I know the win-loss thing, if that continues, will be fine. But it just feels like we're not quite kicking on as I'd have liked. And it doesn't seem to be too much, what's the way of saying it, kind of identity to the way we play. It just seems like we change things all the time, and you don't really know what's happening. It's a bit strange.
You sort of wonder what identity we do have and what identity is trying to be instilled from the touchline. Sometimes I just think we are overthinking it somewhat, and there's just no consistency, and that's the real frustrating thing, because I feel as though we have actually got a really talented squad. I mean, financially, you made comparisons with that of the Brighton side.
Yeah, we've it's over double the amount of the 11. Theirs was about 50 million, I think. Their starting 11. Ours was about 150 million. So yeah, we can't make them excuses now. I know people look at it and say, well, it's Bournemouth. You know, you're playing Brighton. It's a tough game, and they're a brilliantly coached and well drilled side. But the fact of the matter is, we've got a bloody good team. We've got blooming good players, and they've got to take responsibility as well, by the way, of course. But yeah, we've got a good squad. We've got really good players that can't make the bench at the moment.
I'm sure that Leicester fans are probably having similar conversations when they play certain teams, are thinking, hang on a sec, we've got some good players here, but unfortunately, you know, they are not being held together with the glue that we want. Now, they've got rid of their glue, of course. We're going to talk more about their situation and whether it provides them with a bounce. So, mate, it was the flattest environment and atmosphere at Dean Court I've seen in a long time.
I do feel like we've said this before, though, this season.
We certainly have. But, you know,
I agree.
Credit to, I don't know who he was, but the person on the PA. Now, he split some people because he was ramping up. Maybe too much, too much. But you see some of the footage on the vlog, and he's properly going for it. But he probably, you know, all of his excitement was probably more than our 10,000 put together, because it was just so flat. Yeah. Passive support, but obviously we're fueled by what we watch. And when we're seeing a team that can't even pass 3-4 passes together, then it is really frustrating. Yeah. Brighton, look, to their credit, I thought they were superb, very well drilled side, but they just strangled us really. We couldn't get hold of the ball, and our chances seemed few and far between. And even when we did have chances, I never really felt confident that we would take them, even with one of the best chances where Traore was through. I mean, we should have done better.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's no confidence when these players go through. A lot of similarities to that Villa game, in my opinion, in the sense that we had that chance where Solanke went through and you never really felt like he was going to score. Same as Traore. We were 1-0 down at the time in both of them games. And both teams, Villa and Brighton, having spoken to their fans and seen the general consensus, both said we didn't need to play that well to win comfortably against Bournemouth. Villa 3-0, Brighton 2-0. And I don't think either of them were at their top level. But Brighton, as you said, mate, they're just a team that you go, they haven't got loads of standout players in terms of, as we mentioned, big fees or anything, but they're well coached, they all know their roles. I think we've said on previous shows, or even when we've done Premier League shows and stuff, that Brighton can lose players and they replace them with someone else and they're just as good because they just all know what their role is. And they just stifled us, and it was very comfortable for them, I felt. McAllister in the middle was classy, and we didn't hurt them at all, mate. Really frustrating. I think you had the Traore chance, good ball from Lerma in that chance. I think Solanke's chance was a ball from Lerma as well, and then the volley was from Lerma. And I said this to you off air, that people are going, well, you know, if Lerma leaves at the end of the season, when in that game alone, all of our chances, I think Lerma was pivotal to, and I don't think I think he's so key, and I'm a bit worried if we were to lose him, to be honest. But yeah, I thought he was okay. I thought Kelly done okay defensively, and Neto made some big saves. Apart from that, I think everyone was below par.
A few questionable appearances, I would say. I think one of the biggest blunders was dropping Rothwell to fit Traore in. Now, one of the things I was really careful to word this because I didn't want it to come across in an incorrect way, so I'm going to quote my tweet word for word verbatim here. And I said, I hope this isn't interpreted as some kind of religious slur, but as our style does rely on players like Dango and also Traore, was there not the option of starting some different wide men who hadn't been fasting all day? Because I said in a science-led sport where nutrients give the slightest edge, it does seem quite baffling to start them. And it was a weird sort of first 5 minutes. I know the referee had his issues, but that then gave them a chance to take on some fluids and. I don't know, mate. I mean, look, I can only talk from my experience, and I don't know the ins and outs of what they're allowed to take on board as fuel or not. But sometimes I've played hungry before, and all I can think about is food.
Yeah, I'm surprised that no one at Bournemouth has really kind of posed them questions to Gary, because I'd like to know because he must have his reasons. If he didn't think they would they would be quite right. He wouldn't have played them, and not only play them, Dan could play for 85 minutes. So I'd like that question to be posed, because obviously we all appreciated, I think, that we wanted to have to start, but okay, he's had his injury issues, and even the Rothwell one, I think I said before the game in the preview that kind of it wouldn't shock me just because he's had his injuries this season, and that's quite a quick turnaround. But so if that's the case for them, then why was it not an issue for these two? I'm not sure. Like you said, mate, they must have done a bit of their research on this. Yeah, and it's more the fact it was a night game as well, which meant it was a longer time.
If you're playing at 3 o'clock, you can you get it, because I think players last eat 3.5 hours before the kickoff, so like 11:30 in the morning. But if you can't eat all day, I don't know. That was just a concern. But there was someone on Twitter that sort of clarified to me that it doesn't actually give that much of an edge if you've eaten stuff. I mean, to me, it's huge. But
maybe it's an individual thing. But I think the reason this thing has kind of been posed more and people are asked questions because they both had bad games.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just one of the, if they had played well, we wouldn't have spoken about it.
And I think Anthony, he didn't have the most amazing 45 minutes against Fulham, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch, and he is a goal threat.
Yeah, he didn't even get on, which really surprised me.
And
or Rothwell.
And that's one thing. How can you be playing players one week and then just not the next? I know there's they may have slight niggles, or they may think they're tired or not, but I don't know. I just, that's the thing I find confusing as a fan. So whatever the players feel, I'm not too sure.
We just obviously went into a little bit with the two lads that have been fasting. You've got Tavernier, who's had his injury problems. He was still deemed that he could come on in a game. Sabani had to come on at the end, who hasn't played in a long time because of being in Ukraine and etc. and not playing for us yet with his injuries. Well, they were able to play some minutes. So how you can deem Anthony and Rothwell good enough to start for you on Saturday and then not good enough to make an impact in the week confused me that they didn't come on at times, I've got to be honest. But I wasn't despondent looking at the team, the lineup, and I kind of got it. But it was more the way the roles and the structure of the team made no sense. When
you saw certain movements, the way that players... So, however deep Phil Billing was, who is our top scorer? Did you see his average position?
Yeah, it was in his own half. It was deeper than Lerma.
That's absolutely baffling.
And that must be an instruction.
Yeah.
Billing's done just sitting between the centre-halves if he's not told to.
So how many goals have you got in our attacking four then? I mean, you're just relying on Solanke, aren't you?
Yeah, which we always say you can't just keep giving him that responsibility on his own. Because
he was being treated like Kiefer Moore throughout most of that game. The ball being slung up to his chest. He's been asked to do everything.
Kiefer
number
Moore,
10, number 9, Kiefer Moore.
Our second top scorer, he doesn't make the bench. So what our top goal scorer is playing in between the centre-halves, and our second top goal scorer can't make the bench. Do you know what I mean? There's just certain things. That's why I said that I wasn't hugely frustrated with the lineup. It was more what was being asked of them was so bizarre. So bizarre. You've got a goal threat in Phil Billing and you're playing him so deep. Couldn't get my head around it. And that frustrates me sometimes is the questions that are posed to he never gets asked these things. I think, why are you not asking him? Why are people not going to him? Gary, why did you play Billing in this role? I'd just like to know what his thinking was, and I can maybe get my head around it a bit more. But yeah, it didn't make any sense to me, mate.
I just want to give a shout out at this point to Dan Davis. You just reminded me. Dan Davis from Dorset Live. That was his last game covering the club. Dan, you did some amazing stuff. And yeah, over the years, you've posed some really pertinent articles as well, which question certain decisions. And sometimes you do have to rub people up the wrong way. Not intentionally, of course. You just want answers on behalf of fans. So yeah, we'll certainly miss you, mate. Right. Neto was good for us, wasn't he? And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, he's saving all these shots. That's some brilliant saves. Against Fulham, we sort of said, they did have a lot of the ball, but Neto, was he really tested? Well, he was certainly tested against Brighton. But one thing I've sort of said, it's brilliant that he's saving all these shots, but it does enable Gary O'Neill to reel out these tiresome anecdotes at full time about fine margins and stuff. It just
is baffling if you're a Bournemouth fan, because you hear, as you say, your manager going, well, if we had scored them chances, we should have got a couple and then we would have got something out of the game. But surely that means that you've got to say the same thing for Brighton. So, okay, we'll have a couple of goals then. I don't think we have that many chances. You could say the Traoré one was a big one. So, all right, we'll have that goal. Okay, so then that means they get their chances in the net then. So we lose 8-1.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't say it's fine margins because we missed a few chances when they missed a hatful thanks to our goalkeeper. And you mentioned the atmosphere earlier, which I totally agree with. And the atmosphere used the word passive, which is exactly how I described the performance. So they go toe and toe. And if you're at home, in a game you really need to get something out of, you lose the game without scoring, and your goalkeeper's man of the match. Yeah. How do you expect the crowd to be buzzing? Do you know what I mean? I just think it's quite obvious. But yeah, I agree, mate. We're lucky to have Neto and making them saves, particularly most of them were at 1-0 as well, by the way. So it kept us in the game at the time. But yeah, as you say, that makes it look closer than it probably was, really.
I said on Twitter that it feels at the moment like we are, as a team, we are lesser than the sum of our parts. And obviously, as Bournemouth fans, I'm not going to mention his name after they dismantled West Ham 5-1, but with a certain manager in charge, and other managers in the past as well, we've always been more than that. So something is going wrong, and I sort of alluded to something, you can read between the lines on this, but maybe we just need to make one more tactical decision that will enable us to get the best out of this squad, whether that's going to be, it's not going to be now, but should we stay up or should we go down? I probably think that decision does need to be made. But,
I think it's one of them things where we gave a lot of credit because we threw money out in January, and you can't, the amount of money that was put into the squad in January was, to be applauded, really giving us an opportunity. We've got a really good squad, and it's obviously new owners, etc. And then he thinks, well, align that with maybe others' decisions, and you might give us more of a chance. But let's see what happens, mate. I mean, Chelsea have just brought in an old manager that they sacked as an interim manager. So JT about
imagine
that.
You never know.
JT interim manager.
And what's quite weird about it is that we've had worse performances this season. I haven't felt as bad. I think it's just these are happening so frequently now.
Yeah, and I think it's also on the back of a good second half against Fulham. You think, right, you've got a game straight away now, take that into it. You look at the Fulham game and you go, right, first half we were passive, we sat off and we were 1-0 down, rubbish. Second half, front foot, we went for them, we put players in their right roles, we had a bloody go and we were brilliant. Right, brilliant. You've seen that now firsthand. Take that into the next game, and we didn't.
But then I watched the highlights, I was thinking, actually we did pose a few threats, and I was wondering, did I see the same game in person to what I did? I don't know, like if I was to watch the highlights, I'm like, that was alright. We sort of we gave them something to think about, and you look at it and it's Brighton, they're flying high, they're looking at Europe. It'd be amazing for Brighton if they get European football, which I do hope they do this season. But and they're a quality side, and we know the sort of calibre of teams that they've put in some shifts against and got some incredible results. I think should I really be feeling this way? I don't know.
I know what you mean, but it goes back to, we just come off the back of a win, and they'd come back off, they played bloody well, but they still conceded 3 against Brentford. Yeah. And they do give you chances, because if you play that way, we saw it with a previous manager, when you play that way and really front foot and it's bloody exciting, you could leave gaps to the other end. Yeah. And they do that, so you're always going to have chances in transition, which we did. Mentioned the Traoré one, Solanke a few half chances, and we did have moments in the transition, but we just weren't clinical enough, and we didn't have enough of them, in my opinion. We didn't have enough of them, and then you concede sloppy goals like we do. I mean, the goals we conceded are just disgusting, really. I mean, keep seeing that second goal, mate. It is unbelievably bad.
We had 6 at the back. We had 6 in a row at the back, and still they somehow managed to break between the lines and find the guy that just sits Neto down and slots it in whilst everyone else watches him do it. And
I've seen a few people kind of like pick out
Adam Smith,
or anyone in particular. You go, that's a collective. You can't pick someone out there. They're all as bad as each other in that moment. Yeah. It was awful. Zabani I feel for him, and he's going to be a good player, I'm sure of it. But one of the worst cameos I've ever seen. Literally come on the pitch and just got rolled inside out every time. And even the first goal, to be fair, I've been a big fan of Celestia. I think he's been very good for us, and he's arguably our best centre half at the moment. But the first goal, I don't think people looked at it enough. He blocks the first cross and then just charges out. Yeah. And just leaves a massive hole. So, there's a few things defensively that were all over the place. First goal was a hell of a finish by Evan Ferguson, by the way, who does look like a player for the future, doesn't he? Yeah. He's only a kid.
It's absolutely. Yeah, one of the things that a few people have commented on was the substitution, bringing on David Brooks rather than someone like Anthony. I've got a feeling probably done for some similar reasons as he did at Villa, maybe because we were so flat as a fan base. He thought maybe this will get him going a bit, and the players might feed off this, but
I just can't help but think
it's so hard.
I mean, it's just first and foremost, it's just amazing seeing Brooksy healthy and back to doing what he loves. There is a part of me at this stage of the season where you go, does Brooksy just play in the academy and get himself ready for pre-season and ready for next season? Because he come on and you just think, he's just not right. And of course he isn't. And I just think, is this an environment, if you're a mid-table side, on the beach, you can maybe do that. Are we in a position to really kind of drip feed Brooksy into the team? I'm not so sure.
And Jaden Anthony's scored goals. He's proven he can open up defences. So why would you just not include? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is like you say. Maybe it's lifts everyone, and he has got a moment of magic in him from a footballing side.
Course.
So was one of them. But in general, I don't think the subs really worked. But yeah, I kind of get why he did it in the moment.
Well, we need to put that all behind us. Hopefully, we can get 3 points at the King Power. If you're travelling up, safe travels. There's no rain. It's going to be sunny spells, overcast, 12 degrees Celsius. If you're travelling in a car, it takes over 3 hours. I think the coaches are leaving Vitality about 9 o'clock-ish. So make sure you get there on time. But yeah, safe travels. So it's fair to say that Leicester fans aren't overly pleased with their season either. There's the league table. I mean, look at their form. It's not particularly good. Not a W in sight. In comparison, Bournemouth have got a couple, but there is that topsy-turvy loss, win, and all that. Let's check out the form table, and there it has Leicester rock bottom. Bournemouth, in comparison, not doing too badly.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? A team that... Well, whether they'll get a bounce or not from not having Brendan Rodgers, who knows? Of course, they're without a manager after defeat at the weekend away at Palace. So it could work for Bournemouth. It also could work against us as well. And Tom, talk me through the results that have led to Leicester being in the mire that they are. Because they started off February pretty bloody well, actually.
Yeah, they got a good win at Villa. 4-2, and then they absolutely dismantled Tottenham, didn't they? 4-1. You're thinking, maybe it's a turning point, but since then they haven't got a win. I think they've only got one draw in there as well. They got battered to United, beat comfortably by Arsenal 1-0, even lost in the FA Cup to Blackburn at home, even lost to Southampton, which not many teams do, mate. Then lost to Chelsea, and then that draw, that's the only point they've got. And that was to Brentford, but Brentford did get down to 10 men in that game. Obviously, you mentioned the loss at Palace, and then the one game they've had without Brendan Rodgers was in the week, and they lost to Villa and actually got sent off in that game as well, Dewsbury Hall, which is a little plus for us, I guess, because he's now suspended. But we know that Villa's a tough game, so that wasn't their first game without Rodgers. I don't think that was horrendous for them. Yeah, they've lost the game at home. We've seen first hand recently that Villa are a good side on good form, and they only lost by the odd goal. So. And the thing with Leicester is they have got bloody good players.
Yeah, they have.
And they have made a change now, and whether they, I think it's a good thing really they haven't got anyone in yet before. I thought they might get someone in before us, but it doesn't look to be the case. But yeah, they've got good players, mate, so if they get it ticking, they can hurt teams. But it just hasn't happened from this season. I thought they might struggle in terms of, because of recent stuff and winning an FA Cup and winning the league, obviously not that long ago. You see them as kind of a top 10 side. I did think they might drop a little bit below that, because they lost some key players and they're reliant on Vardy, who's now aging a bit.
But
not like this. Wow. Can't believe it. And everyone keeps saying, they'll be fine. But now I think everyone's starting going, they might be in trouble here. So, yeah, but they'll be looking at this, mate, just as we are, as a bit of a must-win.
They've been setting up really deep recently in games, and obviously their formation changed slightly after Brendan Rodgers' departure, but... Two teams that are set up fairly deep that like to counter-attack. What kind of match does that mean? Does that mean it's going to be end-to-end, or are we going to be cancelling each other out, or what? I don't know.
It's difficult to work out because this, as you say, this caretaker boss, Sadler, has only had one game, so it's hard to judge. Such a small sample size to judge how he wants them to play. I would for against Bournemouth.
They'd surely
at
come out
home,
a little bit.
or they'll at least think and look at our average possession stats, which I think is the worst in the league, and they'll probably be thinking we're gonna have more of the ball here, so we might have to get people like Maddison on the ball and try and open Bournemouth up rather than sitting back and counter-attacking, because it's probably not going to be the way to beat us. They're probably going to have more control than that. But I think we'll remain quite deep, mate. People like Harvey Barnes can get in behind you, and whether it's Vardy, Daka, whoever, they've got a bit of pace in there as well. So I think they'll probably have more of the ball. I wouldn't have thought it'd be too much more, I'd like to think. And I think it might be one of them games where both teams play with a handbrake and are a bit scared of losing. Because I think as much as both teams' fan base were going, must win, I think really the bigger picture and the coach staff were going, this is a must not lose.
Yeah.
And it's not a nice way to think, but I wouldn't be surprised if both managers would go, probably take a draw. Really.
But then if we do that for every game against teams in and around us for the rest of the season, mate, we're going down. So we need matches like this to. And this is one of the games that we probably would have looked at thinking, I'd quite like to get something from this. If we do, I think it'll be absolutely massive. And
it will.
I wouldn't say it's a 6-pointer as such, but it's huge.
If you can't, this is no disrespect to Leicester, by the way, but if you can't think you can go and win at a team that have got 1 point in like 7, bottom of the form table, below us in the league, just lost their manager. If you don't believe you can win that game, what's the point? Yeah. We've got to go and try and win this football match. Simple as that.
Now, our last match, we've talked about it, we've seen it. Do you remember the match we played before that, mate? Before the 2-1 this season, the last time we played them?
COVID.
Yeah.
We battered them. It was like we finally thought we might stay up.
Yeah, we did. That was a great night. I was watching at home. I was doing a free-for-all afterwards. I had hair. Great days, mate. And did they have a man sent off?
Soyuncu kicked out at Callum Wilson when he was in the goal.
Yeah.
And we beat him, for a while. Callum, didn't Dom get a couple?
Yeah, Dom got 2. Junior Stanislas deflected shot.
And then Callum's goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
But that was. I remember thinking that was a turning point. Obviously, it wasn't to be the case. I can't remember what we did last time at their place, so you have to remind me. I really can't remember.
3-1 defeat. It was early in the season, 31st of August. That's the last time we played them at the King Power. Before that, losing 2-0. We've got a pretty good record against them in the Premier League, I've got to say. We've only lost twice.
One of the only teams not to lose from when they won the league, by the way. Us and Arsenal, I believe.
Yeah, I know.
2 of them both times.
So in all league games at Leicester, AFC Bournemouth have won 2, drawn 3, lost 4. Not overly great, but in all competitions, Bournemouth have won 7, drawn 5, lost 8. So that's what we think about them. But I've been waiting to do this all day. What does the fox say? What do they say about us? Is that all good?
Brilliant, mate.
We've got a massively important week coming up. Game against Bournemouth on Saturday, which is a must win. Like, there's no two ways about it. We've got to win that game. I think if we don't win that game, then we are as good as gone. But we've also got the managerial search, and as I said earlier, I stand by the fact Brendan Rodgers had to go. 1 point from, was it 21, conceding 30 shots to Crystal Palace. He had to go. It's just now about who we bring in, and I do worry that the damage has already been done.
But yes, it's still going to be hard. No game is going to be easy in the Premier League, but what the 9 games we've got, this is the easiest one. And if you can't beat Bournemouth, you can't beat anyone. And to be honest, you don't deserve to be in the league. You can't beat Bournemouth in the dying stages of the season. So for me, you go into the game and you've got to win.
I'd sooner be playing you now than Manchester City, who we've got next week or the week after. Because whoever wins, and the worst thing we could do is get a draw. Whoever wins, I mean, it's the old proverbial 6-pointer, isn't it? If we can't get up for this, then there's something wrong. If Brendan was still in, I mean, we said before how we were feeling, and I'm as nervous as hell.
I remember that. I remember I used to like that. Now
Cat says moo. No, that's
that probably wasn't the lyrics. If it was, they've got real issues.
Yeah,
who sang that?
Ilvis. Have
they done anything else?
Scandinavian. Yeah, they did Stonehenge. Have you heard that?
No.
What's the... Okay, I'm not going to go to it.
Let's carry on.
What's the team news, mate? I'll tell you what. Marcus Senesi, we'll start with Bournemouth. He had to be subbed due to an injury, so he's going to be doubtful. Ryan Fredericks, I don't think he's going to be involved. Junior Stanislas, no, I don't think he's going to be involved anyway. The team news is going along the bottom of your screen because Gary O'Neill had his presser at Dean Court. Now, whilst we're seeing the team news at the bottom of the screen, for Leicester fans, is there a player or players that you could pick out for Bournemouth as being ones to watch, ones that might be involved maybe?
Yeah, I think you've got to go for Tav again, Marcus Tavernier, just because I think he obviously come on and changed the game against Fulham, and then he didn't start because I think, because of the quick turnaround, he's been injured. But I would think there's a chance that he could, and even if he doesn't, I'm sure he'll get on at some point and he can make an impact. And he's a goal threat. He's every time he's played, we look better. So, and the last time we won in the Midlands was at Wolves, and he got the winner. So, we got a win in the Midlands before, so we can get one again, and it was thanks to Tavernier. So I think he's probably the one to watch, and you've always got to make case, I think, this season to Billing if he's played in that advanced role. Hopefully, he's always a threat, and I always feel like, I don't know what the stats say, but I always feel like he seems to, even last season, he scores away a lot.
Yeah.
I always feel like Billings scores quite a lot away from home. So, yeah, he's got to be a threat, mate.
He's got to be a threat. As for Leicester, look, we haven't caught up with what they've done since we last played them. So there's been a January transfer window in between the two games. So they've signed
Quite a few decent players, yeah.
a couple of players. Who they got one from like FC Copenhagen.
Yeah, Christiansen, I think's a young lad who's been playing at left back for him, kind of coming out of the team, but he looks like one for the future. I think Suter was a good signing from Stoke. I remember thinking, I can't remember, so I might be talking to Steve Ensford about this, and I remember we were looking kind of before January in the Championship, and you always think, oh, is there anyone we can pinch? And I remember thinking, someone will get Suter at some point. I know Stoke fans liked him, and he's come in and done quite well. I think he'll be a good player. And Tete is still raw, but I think he was signed from Shakhtar, was it?
Yeah,
a
that's
Brazilian.
right,
Lad. So yeah, they made a few decent signings in there, and they needed to really, because they've had a few. Obviously, they needed to anyway, but also Tillemans' injury. I think he's on the way back, but not going to be back for us.
Is he not?
No, I think they've said he's going to be back in training very soon. Similarly with Johnny
He
Evans.
scored against us once or twice, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's one of their best players by a mile. So him and Johnny Evans with his experience, and obviously now missing Dewsbury Hall with a suspension. So yeah, they missed some key players, and James Justin's still out, who's a top fullback as well. So they are missed some key players, which didn't help Brendan. But they've got a good enough squad. They've still got a good team on paper, so they should be performing better anyway, mate.
Is they're still there?
Oh, Bertrand. He's injured, isn't he?
Is he? So
yeah, he's been out for a while. I don't think he's going to be back. So yeah, I don't think Leicester fans will mind either. He's rubbish.
I think Leicester fans will have been delighted to see the inclusion in the last England game of James Maddison.
Yeah, I think everyone was, mate.
Yeah, I know. Like at last, about bloody time, and he scored 9 goals with 6 assists, and it's fair to say that he's the man that makes them tick. We don't want to be conceding any free kicks outside the box, mate, do we?
It's a good point. No, yeah, he's just a quality footballer.
Great set piece taker.
I think Leicester fans would understand me saying that regardless of where they fit, if they stay up or not, will they keep Maddison's going to be difficult, because I think he's a top player. And yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen a player that, like, everyone wanted him, like everyone likes him, like even if you're not Leicester, everyone seems to. I think he's just because and he comes across quite well, doesn't he, in interviews and things like that. I think we've got a few of them now in England with like Maddison, Rice, players like that. But he's also he's a real. I mean, I'm not going to enjoy it at the weekend, I'm sure, but he's a player that if Leicester are on, I just like watching him. Yeah. I think he's just very clever. He's not rapid and all them things. He's just very, very clever. So yeah, we've got to watch him, mate. And also you've got to make a shout for Harvey Barnes, who I think goes under the radar because of Maddison.
Yeah, so Maddison scored 9, Barnes 10. I mean,
has Barnes got 10 of them?
I would love to have that amount of goals in our midfield.
Yeah. I mean, that makes it, from their perspective, probably even more worrying that they are where they are. And I think that goes back to the fact that they're still a bit too reliant on Vardy, maybe.
Yeah, and defensively,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Barnes is another one. I just think at the moment we all know that Smithy struggled a lot lately with getting a bit older, and he's had hematoma in the week, so it's not getting easier. There seems to be a lot of decent left wingers, and Harvey Barnes would be another one that would be tough for him.
This is your favourite bit of the show, mate. Do you want to know who the referee is?
Couldn't give a shit.
David Coote. Hopefully he's not going to be a total coot at the weekend.
Was he the ref on Tuesday?
No.
Well, that's all I care about, because he was crap, by the way.
Look, Manchester City away, we had him there. We were just outplayed. We had him there.
Dumber.
But also West Ham away as well.
Oh, he was awful.
Made some absolutely
birthday
dog
to
shit.
me,
Just like volleyball. Happy birthday to you, mate. So there you go. Should we just crack on and do the teams?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, here we go then. We'll start with Leicester. They're going to appear on your screen right about now. There we go. All right, you've got them set up in what looks like a 4-2-3-1, mate.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I'm going to mix it up a little bit. It'd be quite easy to just go, oh, that's sad, there's only had one game. I'll pretty much do the same. But I think they might make a few little changes just looking at their squad. Okay. I'm going to go Everson in goal. I mean, that's one that Ward was playing most of the season, but Everson's played for a while now. Yeah. He's come in. Do you remember him when he was on loan at Preston last year? He was brilliant.
Oh my God, yeah, he really was. They beat us 2-1.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. He made that save. I think it was a slanky header that he tipped.
Yeah. Oh my word, yeah, I do remember.
He was brilliant against us, so hopefully he doesn't have one of them days. But I think he'll probably continue in goal. I'm going to mix it up in the back four, because at the moment they've been playing Castagna at right back. He can play both sides. And Christiansen, who we alluded to, been playing left back. I think they might bring Pereira back in, just because they're at home and he gives them a lot going forward. I think he's a good player. He's just had his injury problem. So I think he'll play right back, and they'll move Castagna to left back and continue with Souttar and Face at centre halves. Then I think they'll go with two that will protect them a bit more defensively minded in Mendy and in Ndidi, because I think they'll try. Maddison's played off the wide areas a lot. Yeah. I think they're going to bring Maddison into that kind of number 10 role. bring Tete back in on the right, Barnes on the left. And they're difficult because Daka scored against us, they've got Iniacho, but I think for a big game at home, they'll stick Jamie Vardy up there. He's got a decent record against us as well. So that's what I'll go with, mate. But like I say, there's players like Christensen and Daka that could play as well. But yeah, that's what I think they're going to go with.
Jamie Vardy against the defence that we've got at the moment, that makes me wonder whether we've got pace there. But let's see what you do for Bournemouth then. We've got 4-3-3, no real surprise there. Right there, mate. Who's in goal?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Neto, I think.
Neto.
Neto definitely in goal. Smithy will be at right back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to make some little weird changes here. So
Okay.
Stevens will play. Stevens will
Right.
play. So I'm going to make my case in point here is that Senesi got injured only a few days ago. So my thinking is hopefully he'll be okay, and if he is, he'll play. But that's tough because of the quick turnaround, so I wonder if he might not be available. Then you'd go to Zabani, who's been out for a long, long time. So I don't think he'll get thrown in. So then you go to Mepham, I go, well, if he's deemed not to be good enough for the bench, he ain't going to get thrown in.
But then, knowing Gary O'Neill, he could well.
He could well do. That's just my thinking, is that Senesi might not be ready.
Right.
Zabani, it's tough to throw him straight in. He didn't have a great cameo. And Mepham doesn't seem to be favoured at the moment.
Okay.
There's got to be a time where we give Vigna a go. And he's a left back. I'm going to move Kelly back in the centre half and put Vigna in.
Okay, wow.
I'm not saying I'd do that. I just
just
got a
be cool.
feeling. And I also think, we spoke about it off air tonight, if Vardy is to play as well, bit of pace in behind,
Yeah.
Kelly getting there, bit of pace maybe. I just think if you've got Vigna on loan, obviously you've got the situation with Zamora at the moment, you've got a few potential issues at the back. Kelly can play centre half. I know he's done fine at left back, by the way. I just wonder if this might be a chance to see what Vigna's about. So that's what I'm going to go with, mate.
All right, in midfield.
I'm going to go pretty standard now. I'm going to play Lerma, Rothwell and Billing.
So does that mean that Billing can get further forward?
I'd like to think so, mate. Yeah, I think Rothwell's got to come back in for me. Don't think Traore done enough to get his role. Lerma always plays. And yeah, that with them two, it allows Billing to get a bit further forward as well. Yeah. I think obviously Solanke will be through the middle. I think either side, I mean, I personally might even think about dropping Dango out and use him as an impact sub. I don't think he's been great lately. But I think since he's been signed, Gary O'Neill does seem to like him and play him a lot. So I do think he'll stick in on that right hand side. I think Christie will come back out. And I think this might be one where Tav starts. Right. So I'm going to go with Tara from the right, Tavernier from the left. And I think what that also does is, with my thinking with Vigna, is that it'll bomb on more. Tavernier has played wing back before. That'll give him a bit of protection. Okay. And it might be a little chance to give a new kind of thing down that left hand side of Vigna and Tavernier. So yeah, I'm just going to take a bit of a risk there with the team, but just thought, surely we're going to try and see what Vigna's like at some point. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, mate.
There we go. That is what Tom is going for. Leicester fans, Bournemouth fans, let us know in the comments whether you agree. We would love to know. Prediction-wise, I'm going for a cheeky 1-0, mate, to Bournemouth.
Yeah, I know we've got to win this game. I'm going to go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Bournemouth. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Bournemouth. We'll go Billing and Solanke, it's easy to do. We'll be 2-0 up. Then Madison will score and we'll go, oh no. And I'll be like underneath, not being able to cope for the last 5 minutes, but we'll just hang on. Yeah, I'm hoping if we go for it, I'm hoping they're not in a great place at the moment. If we can start fast, get a goal, their fans might, you know what I mean? It might get a bit nasty in there. We can take control of the game. So yeah, we need to win this, mate. They're the worst form in the league. We've got to try and hurt them from the off. So I'm hoping we can do it, mate. And it'll be a nice away day in the Midlands.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you at the King Power. Come say hello to us. If you want to appear on fan cams at full time, you would be more than welcome. Until then, cheerio.
Bye.
Not the chairs.
Come on.
This is it. Who's texting me during the show? Oh, my curtain's ready for picking up. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Fuck's sake.
Small wins.